get you, Barbra.
What's up, guys? Eric here on Evident Genius, bringing you some more damn movie reviews, and this time around I really wanted to talk about the Living Dead series, specifically all the George Romero directed movies. I will not be talking about the remakes just yet. I will get to those at a later date. Right now I want to focus on the movies that George Romero himself has specifically directed, which is 6 in a series thus far, starting of course with the famous Night of the Living Dead, and at this point the last one in the series is Survival of the Dead.
A night of total terror. Night of the living dead. The dead who live on living flesh. The dead whose haunted souls hunt the living. The living whose bodies are the only food for these ungodly creatures.
So, Night of the Living Dead came out in 1968, and definitely the movie that laid the groundwork and launched the whole zombie subgenre of horror.
Night of the living dead. A bizarre adventure in fear. An experience in shock more shattering than your strangest nightmare. Night of the living dead.
These two peeps are at a cemetery visiting their father's grave when, next thing you know, they start getting attacked by the Walking Dead. And the girl gets away, she holes up in a house, and then there's some other people there, and they all try to survive. Not only the zombies, but each other.
Night of the living dead.
What a classic movie this movie is. It's so awesome. I love it. I feel like every frame is perfect. I love that it's in black and white, even though color movies had existed for some time. I believe the reason they shot in black and white was because they couldn't afford color. You know, I'm glad that they went with black and white. It just fits the tone of the movie. It makes it even more creepy. George Romero, he didn't just stick with, you know, oh, it's zombies coming to get us. He really delves into like human psychology, human behavior, the way people will react to an emergency. Can they work together, or will they get along, or will they be the cause of their own, you know, destruction? It's very deep. And it gets like even more intense with every movie in the original trilogy. The first one is very simple. It's set in just like one location, essentially. Aside from the cemetery, it's set in kind of like a farmhouse out in the middle of Pennsylvania. Very good performances by everybody, especially the lead character. He's really good. He's a very strong lead man. The Barbra woman, she freaks out, and that's her whole deal, and she does that sufficiently enough. There's the bald guy who plays a really good asshole. You really kind of dislike this guy, but you're supposed to.
You bastards!
The one thing that I do find funny is the girlfriend of the young man in the movie. She always looks really high, like she's just out of it. Like she's just sitting there like, oh, zombies, oh no. I guess that would be my one complaint about, like, out of all the performances, hers is really flat. It's like, who put her in this movie?
If I could only call the folks. They're going to be so worried about us.
A zombie movie is one of those movies where you watch it and you participate in the way that you think, how would I survive? What would I do? What would I do different than the characters on the screen? That's one of the really fun things about a zombie movie. I think that's one of the main things about a zombie movie is people like to think about or talk about and debate what should be done if this actually happened. What would you do? You know, how would you handle it? That's like the really fun interactive part of watching a zombie movie. So Night of the Living Dead, I consider it an immortal classic. I think it's awesome. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars, of course. I actually did my own commentary for the movie Night of the Living Dead. I call it a drunken terry because I tend to play drinking games while I watch and commentate on these movies. You know, I give some trivia, but mostly I'm just a smart ass. So if you were ever curious about what would it be like to watch a movie with this crazy Eric guy, now's your chance. If you're of drinking age, you, feel free to grab yourself a 12-pack and drink along with me. I'll put a link in the description on there somewhere and check it out if you're interested. And that's it for this one, guys, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.
Our news cameras have just returned from covering such a search and destroy operation against the ghouls. This one conducted by Sheriff Conan McClellan in Butler County, Pennsylvania. So now let's go to that film report. All law enforcement agencies and the military have been organized to search out and destroy the marauding ghouls. The Survival Command Center at the Pentagon has disclosed that a ghoul can be killed by a shot in the head or a heavy blow to the skull. Officials are quoted as explaining that since the brain of a ghoul...
Eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash,
he did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
Hey, get off my lawn,
He did the monster mash.
jerks. Hello? Who's there? Who is that? Gabriel. Baby, what are you doing up here? Huh? Ingenious.